Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today it's time to learn about the rook. So let me share the screen. Okay, so previously we've discussed the pawns and the board. We've learned that the pawns can go 2 squares or 1 square from the initial line. We've learned that after we played the pawn, that particular pawn goes just 1 square at a time, and also learned that they may capture diagonally forwards. We've also done the en passant. If your opponent plays a pawn from the initial line 2 steps next to yours, and you are on the 5th rank with white, you can go behind them and capture that particular pawn. Now, let's just discuss about the rooks. As you could see in our image here, we have 2 black rooks and 2 white rooks, and they are right in the corners, namely A1 and H1 for white and A8, H8 for black. How do they move? Well, it's a piece that is worth 5 points if it makes it easier for you to assess the value of this particular piece, whereas the pawn is 1 point. So you do not want to trade the rook for a pawn. Okay. Now, let me just put one single rook in the middle of the board here, and I'll just be making a couple of arrows. So for you to see, guys, that the rook can go up and down, north, south, or right, left, east, west, if it's easier for you. And it captures the same way it moves. So if there is a piece in its range, let me just put a couple of pieces here, randomly, just making a selection of pieces. Rook now can capture one of these 4 pieces. Obviously, you can't capture more than 1 piece at a time. So you will go in straight line and capture the piece you wanted to take, right? Now, you can never take 2 pieces at once. You never move the rook in diagonal, only straight line, up, down, right, left, and never diagonally. You can't jump over pieces. And if there is one piece and behind them another piece, you can't say, I'm going to take that the pawn on e2 by jumping over the e3. First, you need to take the e3 pawn, and then you may proceed and take the e2 pawn. So that's about the rook. Straight line, like a plus. Remember, guys, if it's easier, this is it. That's how the rook goes, and it captures the same way it moves, and 1 piece at a time. If you want to practice today, guys, you can play the rook game plus the pawn so that you can also repeat about the pawn's moves. So you will be having, let me just reset the board, remove the other pieces. Keep for today, guys, the rooks, 2 black rooks, 2 white rooks, and the pawns. And see if you can capture the flag with the pawn that goes safely to the other side of the board, or if you capture all your opponent's pieces, or you block them all. So these are 3 conditions for you, boys and girls, to practicing the pawn game, capturing the flag, using from today onwards the rooks, because then we're going to move to another piece. So for today, keep practicing the pawns and keep practicing the rooks. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Have a superb, beautiful afternoon.